Greetings, this is Griff Ruby with part 58 of my series, Ecclesiology for Sedevacantists, based on Dogmatic Theology, Volume 2, Christ Church, by Msgr G. Van Noort. I continue with another category, just a survey at this point, of some of the various different churches, so-called, that have broken off from the Catholic Church, as distinct from the Catholic Church. 2. The Phocian churches, the Orthodox Church, out of the Phocian schism, brought to the final rupture point under Michael Carolinus in the year 1054, sprang up with the passing of time a number of sister churches. Even though these sister churches agree in large measure in their creed and liturgy, they do not constitute one single church. Unlike the Catholic Church, the Orthodox Church does not constitute a closed, centrally governed church community, but consists of the union of a number of entirely equal, independent, autonomous church associations, which are held together by unity of faith, similarity of liturgy, and their mutual relationship, so that they appear to be one. Important point to note on all of this, because right now the Catholic Church can look similar to that, but there's a key fundamental difference in the way these people are. This is how they think it's supposed to be. They do not believe in the office of Peter. They have basically in that rejected the principle of unity that is what holds the real church together. So right there isn't any. We, though lacking a pope, nevertheless retain in our belief the office of the papacy. We are attached to the patron chair by being faithful to everything that every pope of the church has ever stood for. So, and we look eagerly for the time when there may one day be a pope again, because that's how the church is supposed to be set up. It is not supposed to be what it has been forced to be now. That is a temporary circumstance. But for these people, that's just how it all ought to be. Very important distinction here. Consequently, it is only by an abuse of terminology that they are referred to as though they were one, for each actually claims our Lord Jesus Christ as its only head, and though they grant a preeminence of honor to the Patriarch of Constantinople, they are really independent churches and self-governing. Among these autonomous churches we find the following distinct groups. A. The Patriarchate of Constantinople. This church has its own patriarch who bears the title Ecumenical Patriarch. He rules approximately 80,000 Christians who are located in Constantinople and the four metropolitan cities of Dirkos, Imbros, Chalcedon, and Trikebo. B. The Patriarchate of Alexandria is ruled by its own patriarch who bears the title Most Blessed and Holy Father and Patriarch of the great city of Alexandria and of all Egypt, Pentapolis, Pelusium, Libya, and Ethiopia. This church numbers roughly 125,000 souls. The Patriarchate of Antioch, next to Alexandria, was the most illustrious see in the ancient Eastern Catholic Church. At present, the only reminder of its ancient glory is the title borne by its patriarch, Most Blessed and Holy Patriarch of the great city of God, Antioch, and of the entire East. He resides in Damascus and has under his jurisdiction some 220,000 Christians. D. The Patriarchate of Jerusalem was established as a separate patriarchate from Antioch by the Council of Chalcedon. Although it remained true to the Catholic faith during the Monophysite heresies, it lapsed into the Greek schism about the end of the 11th century. Its patriarch bears the title Most Blessed and Holy Patriarch of Jerusalem and all Palestine. Today, under his jurisdiction, are some 45,000 Arabic-speaking Syrians in Palestine and Jordan. E. The Church of Cyprus is governed by its own archbishop. It ranks fifth in prestige among the autocephalous churches of the East. It has roughly 280,000 members. F. The Russian Church. The main portion of Russian Orthodox Christians belonging to the Patriarchate of Moscow. Orthodox Russians living outside Russia are divided into four metropolitan jurisdictions: the Balkans, Western Europe, the Far East, and North America. In addition to its Orthodox members, a number of strange, heretical, mystical sects with their own peculiar doctrines and esoteric rituals have been found in the Russian Church. The Raskolniki, the Kleishti or flagellants, the Skopsti, self-castrated, the Dukhobori, spirit wrestlers, the Molokani, milk drinkers, the Stunda, Baptists, and the Pascovites. Prior to the communist enslavement, The Orthodox members of the Russian Church were numbered somewhere between 105 to 115 million. The mystical sects numbered around 15 million. At present, it is impossible to get reliable figures about either the Orthodox Russians or these various sects. G. The Greek Church is ruled by a synod of 7 bishops under the presidency of the Archbishop of Athens. Its numbers about 6 million members. H. The Serbian Patriarchate. This independent Orthodox Church is ruled by a patriarch. It numbers about 7 million Yugoslavian Christians. The Church of Bulgaria has no particular patriarch of its own. It is ruled by an exarch. Its numbers about 4.5 million souls. The Patriarchate of Romania established itself as an independent national Orthodox Church in 1865. It is ruled by its own patriarch and numbers about 10 million Christians. K. The Polish Orthodox Church became an independent church in 1924. At that time, it numbered 4 million members, mostly Ukrainians and White Russians. It was ruled over by a synod whose president was the Metropolitan of Warsaw. With the Russian occupation of 1945, most of its members were reabsorbed into the Russian Church. At present, there is reputedly still an independent Polish Orthodox Church composed of about 350,000 members, headed by the Metropolitan of Warsaw. There are other groups of Orthodox refugees from Poland and Great Britain, Germany, the Near East, and other places. They are the ecclesial charge of an archbishop whose headquarters is in London and who has an auxiliary bishop to help him. L. The Catholicate of Georgia has a very ancient history, traceable back as far as the first quarter of the 4th century. Though at first part of the Patriarchate of Antioch, it acquired complete independence in the 8th century. Only gradually did it defect from the ancient Catholic faith and slip into the Orthodoxism. In 1811, Russia suppressed the Catholicate of Georgia. After the Bolshevist Revolution in 1917, the Catholicate was reestablished. It numbers some 2 million members. Its present status is difficult to ascertain, as is the case with all religious groups in the USSR. Remember, this is 1957. The Cold War was very, very intense, and relations between Russia and the U.S. were very, very dicey. M. The Albanian Church became autonomous in 1929. It is ruled by a synod and has some 185,000 members. N. The Church of Finland declared its independence in 1923. It is ruled by a synod and comprises roughly 60,000 souls. O. The Church of Estonia was declared autonomous in 1923. At that time, it numbered roughly 300,000 members under its own metropolitan. When Russian troops occupied Estonia in 1940 and the country was annexed to the USSR, the aged Metropolitan Alexander renounced the autonomy of his church and brought the faithful once more under the jurisdiction of Moscow. P. The Church of Latvia was declared autonomous in 1936 with the consent of the Ecumenical Patriarch of Constantinople. At the time, it numbered about 150,000 members. Its independence was short-lived. With the occupation of the country in 1940, it became a part of the Patriarchate of Moscow. Notice interesting how these things came about through military conquest. The Russian government just came in and took over and said, we're in charge here, and we're even running your religious affairs. Makes you almost grateful for the idea of a separation of church and state, huh? Q. The Church of Lithuania was declared as an autonomous eparchy in 1924 under the Metropolitan of all Lithuania and Vilna. It numbered about 55,000 members. Since the majority of the Lithuanian Orthodox were of Russian descent, the rest of the population were mainly Roman Catholic, and its first Metropolitan was a zealous supporter of the canonical jurisdiction of the Patriarchal Church in Russia. There was little difficulty in restoring the Lithuanian Orthodox to the jurisdiction of Moscow when Russia occupied the territory. So they too were occupied. But R. The Church of Czechoslovakia became partially autonomous in 1921, but was affiliated with the Serbian Patriarchate. At present, the Orthodox sects have been transferred to the jurisdiction of Moscow. There is a patriarchal exarch at Prague, and displaced persons and others have increased his flock to some 146,000. S. The Orthodox Church of Japan is a relic of an old Russian mission established by Father Nicholas Kasatin in 1871. In 1939, when the Japanese government brought the Christian bodies there under rigid control, it was decided to make the church autonomous. It numbered about 41,000 members in 1939. No record of what happened in the war. T. The Orthodox Church of America dates from 1794, when a small band of monks built the first Orthodox church on Kodiak Island. The Orthodox in the United States number roughly 2 million members. from various racial backgrounds: Russian, Syrian, Greek, Romanian, Serbian, Bulgarian, and Albanian. Attempts have been made in 1927 and in 1943 to unite all the Orthodox in America into one independent church, but so far they have not succeeded. The Church of Sinai is the smallest independent Orthodox church in the world. It is ruled by an archbishop who is abbot of the monastery of St. Catherine, possibly the oldest monastery in the world. What an interesting thing to have. Too bad it's in such hands, huh? It became an independent church in 1575. From that year on, the archbishops received their consecration from the Patriarch of Jerusalem. Total membership of that church is about 120. About a third are monks, the rest laymen. Whew, that's a lot. I think that's enough for this. Next section will continue with the Protestants.